Welcome back to the 3 keys to increase your ROI with your office design. This is video number 2 of 3 in this series. In video number 1, we focused on key number 1, maximize space and flow. So just to remember, we learned that the first priority of any space is that it must function well. That means it has to have the right amount of space, and it has to have space that's laid out to achieve the greatest efficiency. This will translate directly as savings to your bottom line. So it's going to keep your facility overhead costs down. It's going to reduce time wasted, allowing more quality time with your patients. It's going to reduce staff frustration and enhance your better communication. So that's how it achieves the return on investment. But now we're going to talk about attract and retain patients. So in this video, we're going to focus on the second key to increase your ROI. So patients will make a judgment about you and the quality of your care immediately upon entering your office. You never get a second chance to make a first impression. Your office space is a reflection of you and your care, and it is the environment that creates your culture. We're going to talk about this environment. It's not a space plan. It's not interior design. It's an environment you're creating. And it is your most valuable marketing asset. So let's go back to our focus of a quality office design. So a quality office design is an environment. And yes, it needs to have the right amount of space and the flow. But what we're going to be focusing on in this one is it intentionally creates an experience. So the space and the flow do create the experience. But what we're going to focus on is more of the three-dimensional space. So you want to create an experience that you want your patients to have, and that will increase your revenue. So what is an environment? It's the totality of surrounding conditions and circumstances. It's the physical, the social, and cultural forces that shape the life of a person or a population. And you want to be intentional about what you're creating as you create your office space. So how is it created? So let's go back to the foundational principle that we embrace in all design. Form follows function. We've talked about the function. Now we can talk about the form. Form is the defined configuration, constitution, or makeup of an item. It includes its geometric dimensions, color, density, weight, and other visual characteristics that give it a unique identity and differentiate it from other items. So as a chiropractor, you need to win at every touch point within that client-patient experience. We talked about your patient renders judgment about you and your practice just based on the experience that they have. And initially, it's based on the appearance of everything they see when they walk through the front door. Your space conveys, two things we're going to focus on. Your space conveys a message of your practice that represents your image. So we're going to talk about image, which is also known as branding, and then space and our environments that impact the behavior of occupants and our users, and that creates the culture. So there is a psychology of interiors we're going to be talking about today. So let's talk about where we are here. Where are we? Well, I know you can't talk back to me. So this is Starbucks. So Starbucks created a phenomenon years ago that they created an environment that people wanted to come and hang out at. And they created raving fans. They created people that will go to Starbucks for all kinds of reasons, even if they're not going to go hang out there. They also, in the same time that this was going on, McDonald's was creating an environment that got people in and out as quickly as possible for a relatively low price point also. Totally different environment. So these environments were created very intentionally to create warmth. They have warmth, they have light, color, textures, all of those things to encourage people to come and hang out. And every Starbucks is also focused on their demographics. And those are all the things you need to pay attention to when you're designing your office. So let's talk a little bit about image and culture and talk about contrast in that. So here we are at Walmart. Walmart, the low price leader. Their office, their spaces are very, very intentionally designed to support the low price leader. They have the lighting, bright lighting, hard surfaces, a lot of signage, a lot of information. You feel like you're a little bit in a garage sale. You feel like you're going to get a deal. So they're very, very intentionally designed to support that. And you don't care about how you dress because you're going to get a deal. So I'm not saying you need to design like a Walmart. I'm saying I want you to pay attention to this space was designed very purposely to create this, to support their image and to create the culture. Now the opposite, high-end designer. This one happens to be a jewelry store, but a high-end designer jewelry store. Totally opposite. Very warm, comforting, lighting's totally different. All items are uniquely displayed. There's not a lot of clutter. You don't see prices everywhere. In fact, most times you're kind of afraid to ask. And you also care about how you look when you walk into this space. That's the image and that's the culture. You know what to expect when you walk into this store. So let's just talk about, I'm going to show you a variety of chiropractor offices. And I'm just going to ask you, how does this space make you feel and react inside if you imagine you just walked into the space? And how do you think you would behave? So this is the first one. And the second one. When I teach this in classes, there's an ah or an that happens around the room as we open these. Now, these are not truly before and after. Many of these are spaces that the first ones that you saw that you probably were going, were actually pictures that clients gave us of their existing spaces. Some of them actually moved and started over, and some of them actually did some renovation. But the one you're looking at right here is actually a startup. So I wanted to end with that one to show you that you can do a dramatic space even with a startup, if you know exactly what you're doing, if you're very intentional about the space. And it does not have to cost a lot of money. It just has to be intentional. So we talked about it earlier, but let's go back to your space conveys a message of your practice and represents you and your image. So what we use is we use the philosophies of retail design. So retail design attracts your ideal customer, and it is to promote purchasing. So think about when you walk into a store, as we were talking earlier about Walmart and that jewelry store, you know what to expect. So your office needs to represent what you're selling. It needs to represent who you are trying to be and who you're trying to express. And if there's a disconnect there, you're going to lose the sale. The other thing that's very unique about chiropractic offices is that patients are there a lot. So having an amazing culture is part of your whole experience. It's part of, once again, your branding. So when we talk about branding, it doesn't mean your logo. It means who you show up to be and who you want your customers and your clients and your ideal patients to be. So spaces that impact the behavior of the occupants in the space. So if you think about a restaurant, when you think about, hey, we're going to go out to dinner, yes, you think about the food. Hopefully you think about the food, but you also think about the environment of that space and what you want to feel like and what you want to experience while you're in that restaurant. So that's what we're talking about creating a culture. So you need to start thinking about what is your image and what is your culture that you want to create. So what we tell our clients to do is actually gather pictures and images and words, etc., for what they want. So let's go back to our focus on quality office design. Is this really going to impact my success? So we believe that a quality office design is an environment that intentionally creates the experience you want your patients to have, and that will increase your revenue. But don't hear it from me. Let's hear it from some of your own peers.
And within the first week we were open, we had a lawyer call who works for a top biological company in the area, and travels all over the place. We had a ER doc call, and we had a top sales guy for another company call, and that type of clientele in my other office, was kind of hit or miss. And just when they came into, even if they came in my other office, they would not have that response of, wow, this is good. And even the ER doc came in and said, wow, congratulations on your new place. So, because he could just tell it was immaculate, and we did a good job working with you guys to design it, and it just showed more respect. So, they weren't second guessing anything I was saying. It was just,
You think they
trusted
respected
us.
you
Yes.
more?
Oh,
Yeah.
easily they respected us way more.
The way that I believe they feel walking in, they feel like they're in the right place. After going through our whole process with new exams, and just touring, giving them a tour through the office, I feel like they're more comfortable. They have more confidence that they made the right choice, the right health choice for them.
The response from the patients was just incredible. I mean, they just were absolutely blown away. And then, we had our highest day of collections in the first week, just from the patients. Honestly, their whole, what I say in the room, my exam, how I interact with patients, all is the same. The only difference is the environment that they were in, and it really made a change. You could see it in their body language and their willingness to listen. It was awesome.
That culture comment that you just made, that's something that it's hard to quantify, but we feel it here more than ever. It's just like our patients feel at home. And while we've only been in this spot now like maybe 5-6 weeks, referrals are happening, even though it's a new, it's 2 miles down the road. It's not where it was. There was a lot of change, but people are still referring, and our patients just love this place. So we're now that we have this newer, fresher identity that's more us, I think it's really improved my team's confidence.
Wow.
And my team's ability to convey what it is that we do here, quite honestly. And they feel so much more at home and comfortable here that their conversations, their interactions with people are much more, I don't want to use the word real. It's just more real.
It's a beautiful space. They expect it to be good. Right? So there's the expectation of us to actually do great work for them is there. It's like automatically, they just expect us to be good.
Yeah, obviously because we do a lot of cash, and we charge a pretty decent fee for what we do. We have a unique service, but when people come in and they see the office, they feel as though, I believe they feel that we are cutting edge, that we're up to date, we're not stuck back 20 years ago with our technology, our knowledge. And so the referrals are really tremendous now. We're getting way more referrals. People are sending their friends in, and I think when they come in, they think this is the place to be. We found someone that knows what they're doing. This is the place to be. He's up to date, he's current. It's great.
People walk in and they're impressed.
Yeah.
I mean, a day doesn't go by that we get a compliment from an old patient that's returning or our new patients. It just looks like we know what we're doing.
Okay.
And so, in my mind, I don't have any exact numbers, but I know that we're converting more clients to care because they feel like, hey, this guy's got this. He must know what he's doing.
One of the challenges that chiropractors don't realize they have is they're selling. They're selling themselves, they're selling their treatment, they're selling their everything. And image really is everything. So from the second somebody walks in, there's an impression that's given off with not just the building, but the office. They walk in, if it's a new patient that's been to another chiropractor before, they're like, this is the nicest chiropractic office I've ever been in. If it's just somebody who's never been to a doctor, this is the nicest doctor's office I've ever been into. So when you elevate that standard, it's really easy to ask somebody for $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000.
Right.
As opposed to walking into a place that's things don't look good, things are tattered and not in place. You want to demand certain fees, but you don't demand the respect that comes with it in every sense, in your techniques, in your ability to deliver, but also in the presentation. So it's part of the total package. So my case fees are really high, but I would say my ability to close somebody, and I don't mean to say it that way, but my ability to convert a patient into a treatment plan is much easier because they see what they're getting into. You know, it's a whole nother level of an experience, right? So when they come in, I say I like to give the Ritz-Carlton experience because I want it to be the best part of the day, and that is not just with our treatment, but also with their surroundings.
Right.
So that helped a lot.
That helped a lot.
Yeah.
And you were trying to do that already at your other space.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this just was a fresh new.
Yeah, it's much easier. You know, it's just a much easier thing.
Yeah.
So if you're converting
It's working
patients,
for you instead of against you.
yeah. So when I say return on the investment and we talk about that, it's so much easier to convert a higher cash patient because of the surroundings as well. You know,
Yeah.
because of they're in an environment where they're like, oh, you know, if you go to a spa that's really nice, you're going to shell out the money as opposed to going to a rinky-dink, you know,
Right.
massage parlor or something
I
like that. It's
understand.
just like that elevation of the difference is
But you still have patients that come to you, because I remember this was really important.
yeah.
We couldn't go too high. You have a very high echelon of patients,
Yeah.
but you also have some that live in the projects back here.
Yeah, so it's funny because I legitimately have billionaire patients that have billions of dollars, and then I have patients that can't afford bus fare and they walk. So the ability to have both of those come into my office and be comfortable was very difficult, and that just is because of the area that I live in. And then we actually have people that fly in for treatment because of some of the specialties that we do. So it was really important that it was nice enough to cater to anybody that walks in, regardless of their, I guess, their background financially, you know. So everybody walks in, and whether you're destitute or whether you're a billionaire, they're comfortable. And
Yeah.
that's really like tough to do.
Welcome back. So what's your takeaway on that? Can you see yourself saying those things in the future of how your space has helped your patient intake and your patient volume and your revenue be increased? We hope that you can. So we're at the conclusion of what I can teach you at this point about the 2 keys of a quality office design: attract and retain patients. So what we learned in this lesson is patients will make judgment about you and your quality of your care immediately upon entering your office, and you never get a second chance to make that first impression. Your office space is a reflection of you and your care and the environment that creates your culture. It's the environment. It's the environment. And it's your most valuable marketing asset.